And I mean, that's their own numbers. Has nothing to do with anything. The ocean is billions of times every year. They've done the calculations on this of all human activity. One big volcano is more, one gaseous explosion from a volcano puts out more CO2, take the case of Mount St. Helens, than all of human activity in the previous 100 years to that, conservatively. And what makes the grass grow? CO2, literally. What makes the plankton have a great day in the ocean so the little fishies, so the krill can eat it, and the little fishies can eat the krill, the little shrimps. But now the shrimps are with Al-Qaeda. The global government is doing nothing about all the true environmental crises. I'm going to cover this later. But they are doing something about the carbon cycle. They are taxing the entire carbon cycle. In fact, bring me back up to a close-up of that so I can show the viewers here and then talk about it for the radio audience. You see, you have water vapor in the atmosphere, which is composed of predominantly CO2. And it's one of the dominant majority gases in the atmosphere. And then it condenses into water vapor and rains back down into the ocean. Right here. Oh, my God, it's going to kill the Earth. But Obama will save us. And then it goes back up in condensation and forms clouds again and continues. But the trees, look, the trees, evil trees. That's why a lot of the cultists that have bought into this and really believe that carbon's deadly, they're saying cut down all the trees. Don't believe me? Just Google mainstream news. Climate change crowd wants to cut down trees. But let's continue with the other evil things. They've got cows, as if there haven't always been bovine and other forms of mammals and other creatures on the land that are eating, and iguanas and every other creature puts off methane. Oh, they list those evil cows. The very life cycle of the earth being listed as toxic, deadly waste. Meanwhile, genetic engineering, gender-bending chemicals being dumped into the rivers and lakes and oceans, causing all sorts of deformities, humans having all sorts of problems from this. None of that's being stopped. In fact, that's being turned loose completely. See, because the corporations can't just have a phony environmental movement to tax and regulate and run your life. They've got to do more. They need to use this as a distraction to all the real environmental crises and issues we have to deal with. They have to pick an issue that can be selectively enforced against the population and selectively enforced against companies, smaller companies, that the establishment wants to run out of business. This is a total straitjacket on the planet, the carbon cycle, taxing the carbon cycle. The Earth's 76% water, 75% salt, 1% fresh. That's really an old bad number. It's more, because there's so much fresh water in the aquifers. It's really more like 4%. So we're talking getting up close to 80% water. But technically, it's under the surface. But here it all is. And so they can ban and regulate and tax and control and have bureaucrats overseeing everything you do, because everything on this planet that's natural is carbon-based. And CO2 is not a toxic waste, because let me show you these little evil things called trees right here. These little green things there on your screen, those put off more carbon than all our cars and all our buses and all our factories could ever do. Now, the United Nations itself claims that the increase in temperature that we saw in the last decade, that 6% of that was attributed to less than 0.5%, and some estimates are even lower, from human CO2 and other greenhouse gases. So there you have it. They're basically terraforming the Earth in the opposite direction. Meanwhile, there's thousands of aircraft spraying chemtrails, manipulating the weather everywhere, and devastating the atmosphere. And the military detonated hundreds of nuclear weapons in the high atmosphere, blowing holes in the ozone layer. But then they're using DU all over the planet. But that's not an issue. Detectors in England and the United States, every time they use DU, picking up the DU in the atmosphere. Because let me show you the planet. Punch up the planet for me. Planet Earth. Then we're going to your calls. Punch up the planet for me. Well, hell, it's right here on the screen. Here, just cut to this. Let me show people something. Right here. Here, I'll just pick the microphone up and come over here. You see this? This is the globe, okay? And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to show you. The jet stream goes this way. Jet stream goes that way. And the jet stream actually dips in at one of the lowest points from, 30, 40, 50, 60,000 feet where it varies. It dips down right over New Mexico, Texas, and Louisiana. That's its main dip point. You can go online and watch the satellites with the infrared of the jet stream. And it comes in right across southern North America, and it comes right in at New Mexico, Texas, and it dumps in. Now, you know why that's a problem? You know why it's a problem? Because most of the detritus and the really dirty factories and the chemicals and the trash burning in China and in India, where there's almost 2.5 billion people. No, it's more than 2.5 billion. It'd be 2,700,000,000, excuse me, in China and India. That all blows across the jet stream. In fact, can you guys back that video up on screen? I can show people for them right behind me. So there you have the Earth. Yes, that's good. This is a view of North America. No, that's a view of Africa. So I need a shot of the planet from the other side. Of course, people will probably say it's a conspiracy theory and the planet doesn't exist next. But the point is here's the globe. Now, look. You've got the jet stream going this way. It's going around the planet. And they seem to be focusing on the jet stream a lot with the chemtrail spraying. But regardless of that, you've got China and India, and then you've also got the Middle East, Iraq, Serbia, and Central Asia, Afghanistan, where tens of thousands of tons of DU have been dropped and are dispersed into the atmosphere. That's why a lot of times you'll see orange dust on your car, and it'll be on the news that blew in from Mongolia, China. So back it up again. I'm going to show people viewing. Oh, yeah. Here's a good shot of the United States. Cut to this one. So the jet stream is blowing this way. Okay, and it goes around the world to China and comes back. Around the Middle East, China, and it comes back. And it dumps right here. So it's going around. All on the other side of Asia and Europe and the rest of it. And it comes around and it dumps most of its detritus on New Mexico, Texas, and Louisiana. In fact, Google live satellite imaging, live satellite of jet stream. And we will show them a 24-hour rendering of the satellite the last 24 hours. Now, I checked this last week, about a week and a half ago, and it was all of it was dumping into Texas at the time. But it varies. It varies in its dumping. And it dumps a little other places too. But we get the full helping of the DU right here. Now, that's a satellite shot of North America. Okay, that is a jet stream shot of a limited air. That's the Canadian jet stream. There's several jet streams, but one of the main jet streams. Show me another jet stream here. I'll probably get emails saying there's no such thing as a jet stream. But the point is, I'm not kidding. They say there's no North American Union. They say there's no Trans-Texas Corridor. No, it doesn't matter. I'll find it during a break. You know what? Just Google jet stream. It doesn't matter. And I can show you how it's all dumping on you. But none of that is a real issue. We just need to tax the carbon footprint. Let's go back to the calls. Who's up next here? Charles in Florida, then Matt, Ron, Ronnie, and others. Go ahead, Charles.
Alex?
Yes, Charles.
Hey, how you doing, man? What's up, man? Before I say anything else, I just want to tell you I'm an African-American listener, so you do have African-American listeners, if you didn't know.
Oh, I know. I've got a lot of great folks listening.
Yeah, I just want to say about my people in this whole Obama crap, and most black people, the majority of us, they can't, and they just don't want to believe that, Obama's not the Messiah. And they don't want to, excuse me, they don't want to do anything they wouldn't do anything the news wouldn't say. And for example,
and because of that, they're not. It's just like Bush supporters. Once they signed on to Bush, didn't matter if he tortured, secret arrest, destroyed the Bill of Rights, tripled the size of the BATF. It was, you know what? I'm sticking behind the commander in chief. And it's going to be the same thing with Obama, but with the media just cult-like saying, he's the answer, he's the answer. I mean, 10 times worse. So people go, I just can't say I've been conned. I just love you.